All right, I think we are now live. Getting a little late start today, Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. Ron had put in the chat that he probably knew that since he's in Florida too, that we had a little cold snap and I had to get my son Jacob to school. So I had to drive him. So that's why we're starting a little bit later today than normal. And we're going to do another symbiote Spider-Man that I got sketched out. First, I wanted to give you all a quick view of. I put this on the thumbnail, but I'm not sure if you could see it well on the um, thumbnail for this episode yesterday. But this is the completed Batman. I went ahead and I kept looking at it, and it just needed some more atmosphere or something. And rain came to mind. And I got to admit, I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So I wanted to share it with y'all. So that's the way I got to find a, probably will sign my name at a diagonal going with the rain. I think that'll work out best. So this one is done. And let me check the chat real quick. I don't know if Ryan is still around, but Ryan, if you are, good morning or good evening to you. Ron, good morning. Uh, yeah, I'm ready for spring again already too. Supposed to get up to maybe the highs around 55, 57 today. I don't think it's supposed to hit 60, but every now and again, a cool day like that's okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this, and we'll see who begins to filter in on a later start. Hopefully we'll be able to catch most of the normal gang. I know Big Easy will be watching this, so I saw his tweet. His uncle passed over the Thanksgiving holiday, so condolences to him. I know he said he had to, I guess they had to bury his uncle sometime this week, so I think he's helping out with that. So Big, our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family at this time. Just to let you know, we are thinking about you. On this Spider-Man, I'm gonna do some sort of a, well, my plan is to at least do some sort of a, maybe a webbing or spider sense motif background. I do have another idea, using one of my bigger wash brushes, which I might do instead. We'll just see what I'm feeling when I get to that point. And I want y'all to know that I did add into the supply list a couple things. And Nothing major, but just some stuff that I'll tell you in just a second here. Let me get these couple of lines done and they can be drying while I'll show you the item and then it'll make sense. I just totally forgot about them yesterday. And one is just something I'm going to try, and it actually the reason I'm going to do it, the reason I'm going to try it is I remembered a quick conversation Ron and I had about ink on Friday, and it got me to think that it could be a good way to kind of try something out. Somebody else had done, maybe it was Ryan that mentioned, or somebody mentioned if I had like preset shades of ink wash, but I normally don't, but maybe I will. So these two brushes, they're silver black Sable. They are synthetic hair, but they seem to be much softer than the Simply Simmons brushes. So I added these in both sizes, 8 and 12. They're available through Dick Blick, and you might find them at a local retailer. I haven't tried. I just know they're available through online. So added those, and I did put that they're, and usually I've only used these for color, not for black ink wash, because I'm trying to save those brushes because the black pigment will tend to get in the, I think, into the brush. The other thing I added, Black Magic ink. Now, back in the day, Black Magic used to be extremely black, and now it's not. Now you can get a brand new bottle. What I don't like about it is it's not extremely dense. It's a really, it becomes a dark gray, like right out of the bottle. So I don't use it for heavy coverage, but I do like the consistency of it. It's very liquid-like in the sense that it's fluid. Hey Shannon, good morning to you. So what I might try to do with the Black Magic, since I have it, is mix it up into some pre-done wash tones that I can keep on hand. I don't know if that'll work, but I'll give it a try maybe. Seems like it might be some extra work for maybe no good reason. But if it saves time to have it pre-made, and I know here's my light tone, here's like a medium tone, and maybe a dark tone, then that could be a good use. We'll see. I actually I came down here, Shannon. It wasn't extremely bad. It was just cold, and my wife usually bikes my son to school. A little too cold for them to bike, so I came down here and I prepared this sketch and put a post out and did a few. Actually, cleaned up some stuff from yesterday. and got today's stream prepared. So it wasn't like it was horrible. It was just too cold. It was around 39 degrees out, maybe a little lower. So I felt like proper thing to do would be extend the stream a couple hours while I got him to school. So more of a family thing than weather. He lives too close to the school to take a bus. But he lives about a mile away. Or we live about a mile away, I guess I should say. But us Floridians, he loves the cold weather, though, to tell the truth. I don't know if that's a kid thing and if he'll outgrow it or what. But the reason I stayed in Florida is I don't care for the cold weather myself. It does, Shannon. I kind of agree with you. I like a little cool down that we get um, in the low, like, 70, in the 70s, like under 75 to mid to upper 60s is perfect. Um, but usually we get just the hot. I mean, we've had, I was talking to someone yesterday. It's kind of funny because we've had 80-degree Christmases here in Florida before. You can actually go to the beach. Although the problem with that is the waters are cold because all it takes is a few good spurts of cold weather. And the water gets cold through other ways, I guess. But the other thing is that time of year, I guess nature has a way of knowing. And there's a lot of seaweed in the water. Portuguese man-o-war tend to migrate into our ocean here in Daytona. You'll see a lot of them washed up on shore. I actually was telling my son Jacob about those, and he got interested. So we did a little bit of research on them. And, I tell you, you can find anything online. And I found out more about them by just watching like a 2-minute video clip. I didn't know their tentacles could extend down 100 feet. That is extremely long, and they are filled with gas. You know, they kind of look like a jelly thing, but they're filled with some type of gas, and they just float on the surface of the water, and their tentacles extend down. And they also catch fish with those stinger tentacles. Some fish it's very deadly to, and the photography was great. It showed the fish that had gotten caught, and that the man of war had basically sucked the inside of the fish, that all the guts and stuff out, and it just left like a shell that it kind of just released from those tentacles. Pretty amazing stuff. And my son became concerned, and because I had heard that, and I've never been stung by a jellyfish or a man of war, but I do know from what I'd heard, a man of war sting is a lot more severe than a jellyfish. And it said that a man, and I'm using the term broadly here, a man could actually die from the sting. And I guess that is relative to the size of the person. It was probably more of a kid. But yeah, said it's not likely to happen, but it can happen. So of course that's the stuff I don't like my son to hear. But when he asks me about it, I just tell him, we're not in the water when they're out there, so we don't have to worry about it. But I know he still does, because he's a kid, and their imaginations hold on to things sometimes more than adults. So I also I think I am at 103 subscribers now. Not only did we break 100, but gained 3 more. So thank you to all subscribers, and hopefully that number will continue to grow. So I feel more comfortable that there's 103 subscribers, saying that I have 100 subscribers, than if it was just still at 100, because that one person drops, and now I got to have 3 drop to get under 100. And it was weird. It was I don't know what caused the extra subscribers yesterday. Uh, it, you know, um, I'm wondering if it was the Batman. Don't know. Guess I shouldn't care, but it's kind of one of those things that, when you're looking at your analytics, you want to know, like, okay, why the subscribers? I have a few other ideas, but they're just, got nothing to back it up. So I'll just be thankful for those new subscribers and for the ones that have been with me from the very beginning. And while I'm talking about subscribers, if you haven't, if you're watching, please do consider hitting that subscribe button and the notifications afterwards. And if you don't feel like doing that, but you enjoy watching some art being made, some comic art, uh, maybe I like. Appreciate it. And of course, after a like comes a comment. If you have something you'd like to see me draw, leave a comment. Something maybe you'd like to see me work on, leave a comment. I do try to get back as quickly as possible to all comments left. And so there's a good chance that if you leave a comment, you're going to get a reply. Hey, it may just be a thank you, but it may just require a thank you. And I do appreciate. Oh, I appreciate that, Shannon. I appreciate that very much. I am thinking about, well, I'm not thinking about, I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get a text message sent out to Craig Jared, the yard sale artist, and Pat Sampson, and see if any of them are interested in getting together and doing a hangout on Friday night or sometime Saturday. We'll see. I know it's been a while since we've had one, but I also know this time of year, Christmas time, it may even become more difficult. But I think we probably have one more in us before the holiday family stuff really kicks in. thing I might need to really fight off now with that is, just coming off of Thanksgiving, people getting back to work and back to their routines. Hey Shannon, since you're hanging out in the room, I know normally you're a little later, so this is probably good for you. And if you're still there, let me run this one by you since it was your suggestion. The Star Wars characters you suggested to me, if I did those, are you still at all interested in those, or um, would you not be at this time? Because I have two odd men out to do for my daily draw next week. That came in at the end of this sale, and I'm kind of looking at filling that week with something. So just throwing it out there your way. I know you have one already commissioned from me. Um, the Judge Dredd, which was a good choice. Hey Ron, I probably will not do the DeLand show, but I could. That's one that my friend Tom, that I help with the Daytona show, he puts that on. So I might be there. And no, I don't really have a theme for next week. I was just telling Shannon, I actually have a two uh, two more of these Black Friday um, pieces that came in. I still need to hear from AG on what character he wants. And the other one is a Ghost Rider, which I think is very cool. So I was asking Shannon, he had mentioned a couple of Star Wars characters. So you are so interested in them. Okay. Maybe I'll plan on doing those in um, Shannon. Just kind of have a mashup next week of stuff. I still want to do my Cosmic Bad Guys week. I think that's going to be a fun one and a good one. That was supposed to be this week, but you know what? I had to do my own Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and now I don't know if you all have seen it. Uh, People are having a Cyber Wednesday, and I'm like, when did this? When did Cyber Wednesday? Is this new this year? I mean, why? I think in the future, like the future next year, 2019 of November. I think the whole month of November is just going to be like um, the whole month is just going to be on sale. Seems to be the way that's it's looking. Okay, I won't, Shannon. Like I said, I just was more interested in um, if you wanted to. If you wanted to lock them in, I know you wanted. If I do them, do you want to lock them in? I guess is one question I'll ask for you. You know, I may even plan a. If I skip them next week, then the following week maybe I'll do a Star Wars week and just put those two in load them in the front or something, and then uh, go on to some other Star Wars characters the remainder of the week, and then that way you can have a shot at them, or if you want to pass, that's fine too. All right. I think I need a little bit more weight back here at his skull. Yeah. Okay, we can work that out, Ron. Do you have a, and I will tell you this though, I think, we, you know what, when you were here, we didn't talk about my dislike of Iron Man. As far as I like the character, but not my favorite one to draw because he's a bucket head. Um, but I do him. Uh, like if he's in an option, if someone gives me like two choices and one's Iron Man, Craig would be able to tell you right away. Unless that other one is Galactus. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be choosing Iron Man. Not that I won't do it. Um, like I said, it's just not my. I would say my go-to characters. You know, when people the ones I've probably drawn the most, and if I'm put on the spot, I think most artists probably have a go-to character that they feel comfortable doing. And for me, um, I don't think it's a secret that it's either Captain America or Batman. But I'll tell you, hopefully this will be a short story or an interesting story, either one. Maybe short and interesting. I think one of the reasons I kind of dislike doing Iron Man, and Craig kind of had a hand in it, is, and I can't tell you how many years ago this is, but it's been a while. There was, I think it was Don Perlin, started a little, I don't think he does it anymore, but there was a charity event that he was holding at a comic shop somewhere up in the Jacksonville area. And I was invited to come up, and Craig and I decided we would do it. And some people had sent in artwork for bidding. And I was there basically as a, let's say, warm body to actually do live commissions for people for donations. So somebody came up and they wanted an Iron Man. And I did it, and Craig really liked it. Sometimes I question Craig's taste though, because like I said, to me, it didn't feel natural, or it didn't feel, you know, it's in my wheelhouse, yes, but it would just not the not the most fun I could have had. So anyway, I do the Iron Man, and I think it was three more people came up, and they were trying to decide what they wanted me to draw. And Craig kept pushing Iron Man on everyone. He said, "Oh, you know, John did an Iron Man. You should see it." I think the guy was still around. They got it, and so the guy was like, "Oh yeah, this Iron Man's great." So basically, what happened was, as you can imagine, Iron Man became my most popular character. Like I said, I think I did 4 sketches of him that day, and that really kind of put the kibosh on me. Hey, good morning, Dr. Kaz. How are you today? Well, the reason I don't like doing the bucket heads is just, I don't know, little. I'm beginning to like certain aspects of them a little bit more. I will, yeah, I'll tell you. My personal opinion is if you have the opportunity to get an Iron Man sketch at a convention from Bob Layton, do it. Uh, he really, not only uh, do I like Bob's long run with the character Iron Man, um, association with it, but he really does the metal well. He's got the technique down so that when he gets an Iron Man sketch to you, it looks great. Mike Cross, good morning. You wrote this, Mike Cross. Layton just has the character down. And that's exactly what I was saying, wasn't it? I said Layton just has the touch, makes it look really metallic. Uh, I, yes, sir. You are absolutely right. That's exactly my point. Um, I've seen Bob do Iron Man at a show, and it's for him, it's effortless. For me, a bit of a struggle because it's not a character like for me, Captain America, I can draw him, Captain America, Batman, draw them all day. Iron Man, I'm like, okay, I'm constantly maybe guessing myself and stuff like that, but it gets done. I won't say no. It's just if I have a choice, I'll take the alternative, I guess, is main point. But don't let that discourage you, Ron. Like I said, Mike Cross, I do have your all's packages wrapped up. Did not get them mailed out yesterday. I had a few things happen here. Uh, mm, that no need to get into, but had a few things come up that I had to actually take off and take care of yesterday. So I will try to get stuff mailed out. I've got Ryan's packaged up, Dr. Kaz's, Mike's, and Don's. And I got a few more things packaged this morning that just need address labels. So we'll have to hit the post office sometime this afternoon. Well, I did say I hated it, but yes, Mike, you do go to me for your Galactus sketches, and I appreciate that. Actually, I think the fear of Galactus is, and you know what? It shouldn't be because, I'll pull out Kirby for reference and because I want to get it perfect. But, even when I'm looking at Kirby for reference, he changed Galactus around. You know, some of the suit doesn't stay the same from panel to panel. I think he made up just enough to have like shapes, but didn't really care if it kind of changed from panel to panel or page to page, or you know, if he did four or five pages in one day and it looked the same on those pages, and then the next day he did it and he, you know, one of those little squiggly things or Kirby machinery type stuff came to look different, I think he was okay with it. And for me, the big thing is like, oh, you know, I got to get this perfect. I got to count. Let's see, is it 5 or 3 things under his chin, little stair step things that go into his neck? I think if I get over that, I think I'll be fine. Now, those earpiece things that, you know, look like airplane wings that are bent, those can be a beast to get in a drawing. Sometimes you suddenly, you know, I mean, I could not do a Galactus head this big and get the whole headpiece in there. But you know what? As long as you get the cropping right and get enough in there to so it reads as Galactus, I think you're fine. I also think, if I remember correctly, when he first started doing Galactus, Galactus had like a G almost like in the center of his chest in a circle. And I think that is no longer the case. I think that's been kind of, and I think Kirby did it himself. I think it was removed. But I kind of like it. It's kind of one of those sentimental things of, you know, that I remember. I didn't read Kirby as a kid, but when I did, it was, you know, something that I thought, oh, you know, this, it kind of did bring out the kid in me then that, yeah, that G, that's for Galactus. That's really cool. Just like the S on Superman's chest. Thanks, Ron. Yep. That was a fun Beta Ray Bill. I like the character. See, and well, I like Galactus. Um, and I have done him on a commission piece with Silver Surfer for a guy. And Mike Cross, you are absolutely right. It's sometimes it's the characters that challenge us the most that we wind up um, doing the best on. The the Iron Man version that I I kind of do. I did do a commission of the V-shaped helmet. If you know the one with the V shape cut in the top. I kind of like that's like the early version, one of the early versions. The one that uh, I think everybody. I don't know. Well, I'm sure there's somebody out there, but and maybe it's one of you all, but the Iron Man version with the nose. I don't get that at all. Do not get the nose. I mean, I understand it's kind of practical, but you know what? The helmet could fit the nose in. You just gotta, and I get it. When you draw the side view, a lot of, you just kind of do it straight. Unless you do the little divot thing where, okay, a nose could fit in there, then, but hey, this is comic books, so let your imagination be open to that. Don't have to question everything, the reality of it so much, I believe. I mean, yeah, there is a certain amount of realism that we want from our comics and our comic characters, but there's also um, that like fantasy thing that, that's why we like them, is they're not real. But what if they were? Make sense? Or is it just me rambling? I don't know. To me, it makes sense. I think I'm going to close this up so I can really get a better shape on the contour of Spider-Man's head here. I was playing around with that, but come on, just give me a little bit here. I want to just soften this up. And as Ron found out, you all probably can't see the real soft dry brush that I just put on that. Maybe you can. I don't know. Depends on how sharp my camera is working, I suppose. All right, let's scrub some ink off of this brush and rinse it out and see what's going on here in the chat. Let's see. Shannon asked me, is there a particular character you cringe when it is requested? Mr. Cross replies, and quite well noted, Stallone. Ron replies, laugh out loud ×2. Yes, I would go along with Mr. Cross's assessment of that, especially when I get hornswoggled into it always having to be Jack Carter now. I guess it doesn't always have to be, but come on, Craig does steer, and Mike, you can back me up on this. Craig steers people into doing Jack Carter. So I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and let's see, anything else going on in the chat? I have 8 people viewing, so I'm happy with that. Got one like. I know I'll probably get some more of these before the end of the day. I have noticed that my daily draws have been getting somewhere between 40 to 50 views. Thank you all for that. I appreciate it. But let me seriously answer Shannon's question. Particular character. That's tough to answer off the top of my head because there are some that are just, I wouldn't say I cringe, but when I'm in my studio, anything is fair game. Convention time is where, you get that character request that's odd. And, you know, you, then you're dealing with reference either back in your hotel room or at the show, and it becomes more time consuming. So at a comic book show, being able to do a character that you're known for and you're familiar and you can do without reference is a big plus. But I mean, hey, I get it. Some people want to see your take on other characters. I've had some unusual requests that I would never think of. Usually it's somebody like a Justice League character that, since I worked on Justice League, and it may have been, I can't think. It's somebody had me do a villain at a Heroes Con. And um, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, I can't even remember the villain. But, I've done characters like King Tut from the Batman TV show. Mike Ross might be able to help me answer this question. So it's not really a particular character, although Iron Man is a tough one. I did him at TampaCon. I did. Let's see. I did 2 Iron Man, just regular shellhead Iron Mans, and then 2. Oh well, one was a War Machine, and one was the Hulkbuster. And I was doing those, of course, while I was sitting right next to Bob Layton, which was not comfortable at all. When somebody owns a character and I'm doing my version right next to him, not comfortable. Although it's not as bad as when somebody comes up and they're having Mike do a Punisher and they want me to do a Punisher, and I will not do that. And in fact, I probably would turn down a Punisher request even in my studio, because that is a character that I associate so much with Mike that no matter what version I do, I always feel it falls short, and I can't overcome that mindset, and I haven't been able to. I don't like to do techie stuff, Mike. You're right. Transformers. Here's the thing. I would do them, but a lot of people don't understand that since it's more technical drawing, I mean, you have to draw the basic shapes and stuff. It's more time consuming per hour. And I don't like to charge like an hourly rate because it's not fair to either party involved. So I like to have a fee, like a character fee. And then, that becomes unfair when somebody, to me, when somebody wants to do a character. There's also some people will want a movie version of a character. So I'll just take, let's say, well, Ron wanted me to do Black Panther. Now I assumed he wanted the movie version, so that's what I gave him. My thought afterwards was, what if he would have wanted the Jack Kirby, the original Black Panther version? I didn't ask. I assumed. I jumped into it. Why? Well, Black Panther is well known now because of the movie. So while I'm fairly sure I assume correctly, I'm not 100%. Yeah, that's right, Mike. That's when I was doing the little sketches on the colored paper. They're like 3.5 by 5.5 or something. Those were fun, but I was spending so much time on those things for like 10 or 15 bucks. Like 3 hours in, I would get one done because I started using not only the colored paper as an accent, yeah, but colored pencil and marker and whiteout, and uh, it became something of, it was fun, because we had the corduroy mafia there. So I couldn't see doing that again, though. Um, at least not at that price. It just, but it was fun because it was, what I would consider my group of guys that, you know, that I enjoy. So, and like you guys here, I enjoy you guys. We have a good time. I'll take a sip of my water here. Mm. While I do that, wow. Um, for those of you who missed the beginning of the show, I did do this. I added rain. Uh, that is why you have 10 of them, Mike. Uh, this is the finished piece from yesterday. It was very wet in the background. I even darkened it more. And it just still needed something. And before I scanned it, I I could see rain on this piece, so I added the rain, and I really think it brought a great atmosphere and look to this one. So, yeah, thank you, Mike. So, see, that was something that was not planned, but the rain just worked. I think the angle of his face this way, the angle of the rain, the dark background, just it really came together well. Okay, so I need to decide what I'm gonna do on the background of this Spider-Man. I could just do some squiggly spider sense lines, but I think I want to do something a little more creative. I don't know if I want to do a web type pattern. I'm thinking of using my one brush and letting it get all, uh, don't know what to say, kind of like a dry brush, and doing some lines around Spider-Man that would kind of indicate his spider sense, but not in the typical squiggly line way. Oh, thank you, Shannon. Yeah, the rain effect on the Batman. Like I said, I did. Uh, it's on the thumbnail when you go back to my YouTube channel. Since the thumbnails are so small, you can see it, but you can't see it as good as. And I think I posted this on Twitter, but I know you're not on Twitter. I'm pretty sure. So I think I may have posted this on Twitter. Not 100% sure. Actually, Dr. Kaz, the rain effect was done with a um, this pen here, this whiteout pen, and it looks like it's, yeah. Well, it's written in white, but it's a jelly roll, spelled GELLYROLL, and all I did to get the little drop effect was kind of dab it a bit, and then with I had the ruler out and I just did the lines. So this is the whiteout pen. My typical go-to whiteout pen is this Jelly Roll. You can find these at Michael's, probably Hobby Lobby, probably online at Dick Blick. I should probably add this onto my checklist of supplies. Okay. You know, I'm kind of curious, Shannon. I'm pretty sure because I wanted to show it and you guys didn't see it. I'm pretty sure I put it on Twitter. If anybody has access right now and wants to give my Twitter account a check from yesterday, actually, you know what? I can do it real quick. Let's see. Let me just go through these quick notifications. Let's see. My website says something needs to be updated, and I know why. It's because it's going to a. Um. Oh, automatic. It's going to automatically update. Da, 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 da. Okay, so let me check my Twitter. Let me check the twits. The tweets, the twits, the Twitters. Go to me, go to, come on, where are my tweets? Oh, yeah. So it is, well, don't need that. Don't need that. So yeah, it's on my Twitter. So if y'all want to see a better a better version of it, I am on Twitter at johnbeattyart. No, I don't put a lot of these on Instagram, Ron. I probably should because I could be posting a lot more. Um, I have kind of neglected Instagram since I started on YouTube. So okay, and I want to do these. I want to do these lines in a darker. Don't want them too light. I'm gonna have to get a scratch piece of paper to practice them on or get the right effect. That's my keys jingling, people. As I got up and got this piece of paper to, I want to get the right tone and uh, the right amount of. So let's just see what I got with my. Yeah, my wash ink water is not dark enough, so we're gonna make it. Gonna make it. Let me get this up here. Get some out. That's pretty good if that's gonna be the color, but I'm not sure. Well, I shouldn't say color. I should say if that's gonna be the. Yeah, that's all right. Now I gotta dry it out though. You can see my there, getting it out. Need a little more ink. Let's see. See, I'm thinking something like this, or let's see. Don't really know about that. Nah, don't care for that squiggle. I think something more. That didn't get to dry. Come on. All right, kind of digging that. Up my finger. All right. I think I have enough ink out of it, and I might go back. I want to do dry first, and then if it needs a little bit more wet, I will. Okay, I'm liking this look. That's a little too wet. Just tap it and get my pinky out of the way so it won't drag. There we go. That's what I'm looking for, something like that. Kind of gives the flashlight effect in comics, which normally are done with like a brush and a ruler or a nib and a ruler. What do y'all think? How's that looking? Hey, good morning, Luca. I have never drawn or inked RoboCop. No, sir, I have not. I'm really liking that. Gonna do some on the other side here. Let's see, where's a good place to start? Buckethead week. Yeah. Well, never say never. Dun, da, da, da. Hey, I just had a thought. Excuse me. For those of you who are here live, um, can you let me know how the 9 o'clock start time? Um, oh, okay. Thanks, Dr. Kaz. I just saw where you, I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. How is the 9 o'clock start time on this as opposed to the 7? To me, it's not that big a deal. I don't know who it affects. Big Easy, I know, would probably he comes back and watches though. He's very, very good at watching the replay because he gets about a half hour before he's got to go to work. I just kind of like to, if you're watching this after it's been recorded live, then you can leave in the comments whether or not it would be more convenient for a later start time. But if you're watching it after the fact, that probably means neither the 7 o'clock time or like a 9 o'clock time would fit into your particular schedule. So I get that. But that's why I said, for those of you watching now, Is it any more convenient? Is it the same? I'd like to hear from y'all. I figured that, Ron, that you would get a longer watch at the earlier one. I like Dr. Kaz's reply. If I start at 9, he can sleep in 2 extra hours. That's really good. So, uh, just because of the fact that, if it's a rain day or something, um, I do need to take Jacob to school. And if I know we're not going to get down, or we're not supposed to get as cold as we did today, the rest of this week, but it could come up again, in the coming weeks. And I'm just kind of curious. I kind of like to, since I'm up early, I kind of like this to be the start of my day to get me warmed up, and productive. So for me, the 7 is good, but if I can get a bigger audience at 9, I would maybe think about changing it to a different start time, but kind of routined into the 7 myself. So, Symbiote Spider-Man 2. Maybe a little known fact. When Mike Zeck designed this, the suit was supposed to be white and black, not the blue highlights, which represents black. So he actually had it, with the white highlight. So that's why I haven't put any tones on this, and I don't think it needs any. I'm looking at it on the monitor so I can see what you all are seeing. And I'm wondering if I should add any, but I don't think it's going to move the needle on the piece any. I think the really black and white Spider-Man drawing and then the tonal radiant lines are pulling it together very nice. So I'm gonna let that go. That's my buddy Tom. He's probably in town, and I'm about done here, so I'll call him right back. So I think we're good to go with this. I'm gonna go ahead and call that this Spider-Man done. I will get a scan up for the thumbnail, and I guess I need to start posting these at least on Twitter, so you can see a better version of them, because I haven't been doing that, but I probably best practices need to. Just the art itself without the thumbnail. I can do 2 posts, one with the replay of the stream with the link, and then one of the actual piece. All right, everybody. So I'm going to close up. I appreciate you coming out. If you liked it, you know what to do. And I will be back, as far as I know, tomorrow. Yeah, I do have scans. I scan them and leave them as TIFFs at about 200 DPI, I think, is my default. I just kind of got away from posting, but I think since I scan them every day to make the thumbnail, I may as well start putting them up on the Twitter. So I'm going to go ahead and take leave, and I will see you all tomorrow. Let's see. I have a Captain America to do tomorrow. So that should be fun. I always enjoy doing Cap. And then Friday, Shannon, if you're still in the room, Judge Dredd. All right. So thank you all. I appreciate your support, and see you in the morning. Have a great day. Take care.